It's safe to say that Lisbon is one of my favourite cities in Europe to travel. And with Portugal having low coronavirus cases, it's also one of the most popular travel destinations in Europe in 2021. So I'm making this video to answer a common question. What type of accommodation can you get in the city for less than $100 a night? And in this video, that's exactly what I'm going to show you.
So, throughout doing these vlogs here in Lisbon, Portugal over the last couple of years, a lot of people have asked me, where do you stay in Lisbon? How much does it cost and what type of place can you get? I have been to this amazing city now 4 times and it has taken me a long time to master where to stay and how to stay here in Lisbon. But I finally think we've cracked it, you know, staying in a good place, and especially if you're going to be here staying in Airbnbs, I think I can show you probably what has been my favourite place to stay here in Lisbon, absolutely, since I started coming here about 4 or 5 years ago. Now we're inside. But one thing about the apartments here in Lisbon, especially in Alfama, is they're very, very steep. We are 4 stories up. The stairs are like that. You do not want to arrive at the top of here and fall all the way down there. Trust me. Okay, so it is time for the house tour. Here is the front door, and I think this is interesting because it will give you a rough guide as to what type of Airbnb you can get for your money. This here is a master bedroom, double bed, picture of the Belline Tower, good space for 2 people. Then as we come in the main hallway, we've got the steps leading up to what is actually a living room up there, but it can also be turned into a bedroom, which is what we've done because we're 4 people. And my parents-in-law are staying in the main master bedroom and we're staying upstairs. I actually think upstairs is better, with a big sofa bed which spreads out. I'll show up there in a second, but anyway, this is the main kind of shared living space. And basically it's got a dining room table there which extends out. It's big enough for 4 people. The stairs are here behind me. And then underneath the stairs here, we've got towels and stuff hanging up all on the railings and stuff. Just ignore that. Anyway, underneath the stairs here, we've got all the different things you might ever need here. We've got microwaves, we've got toasters, we've got a kettle, a spare kettle, we've got a hoover, the microwave, and a big fridge, which is important. And then just off the main living space here, we have the bathroom. I mean, what can I say about that? It's all brand new. Everything in this apartment is brand spanking new, which is why it's such a good place and perfect for 4 people, 2 couples. It's absolutely ideal. Here is the main kitchen space, the sink, and all the utilities. We've made a mess of everything, but just pretend it's all brand spanking new. When we came in here, it had just been cleaned and it was perfect. I mean, the thing with this apartment is, right, they've managed to fit a lot of stuff in a lot of living space into a very narrow area. It's actually a very narrow and small area, which all of the apartments up here in this neighborhood in Alfama are all like this, because Alfama, the buildings are all very old, right? So they've had to make use of the best they could. So they've had to make the best use they possibly could with the space they had to build these houses. And like stairs that lead up to the place that we are using as a bedroom right now allow for a lot of use of this area without actually getting in the way. If there were big proper stairs, they would have probably taken away a lot of living space. Anyway, I'm going to show you up the stairs now. So this is the place that we're using in the bedroom. It is the living room. Big TV there. It's a slanted roof because this is literally the roof of the whole building. We're up on the 4th floor. And the sofa folds out into a nice big double bed as well, which we have been sleeping in. It's perfect. And there's so much space up here. Yes, the roof is slanted, and yes, I have bumped my head on this side plenty of times already, but that's fine. That's what living in really small old buildings is like. Here in Alfama, a lot of good lighting. There's a window up there as well, which we've blocked off. But yeah, it's a nice place to stay here in Lisbon. Perfect location, Alfama. There is so much going on up here. I guess one thing to say is when you're looking on Airbnb and you want to stay in the old town, which is a great place to stay if you're a tourist, do look up places that are marked as renovated, because some of the older buildings here, if they've not been renovated, they can be really different to what you might be used to. Let's put it that way. But the ones that are renovated like this are absolutely pristine. Another thing it's worth mentioning. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. It's bad in a lot of ways, right? I will admit this. It's very, very bad. But this neighbourhood has been totally taken over by Airbnbs now. From what I've learned, there are not that many locals who have remained. Most of them have bought houses outside of this neighbourhood for themselves to live in, and have rented out their old places on Airbnb or are just sold. People have been buying these apartments up over the last couple of years because Lisbon is in a state of boom. And I think the city, and pretty much all cities, Edinburgh as well, where I'm from, are looking into ways to kind of mitigate the effects of that. But basically what it means is this neighbourhood, like all our neighbours on this landing, are all Airbnbs, and they come and they go all the time. Sometimes you get a lot of people who are like party goers, and they might be out all night and stuff, making noise, which, you know, that's what they're here to do, I guess. But I have learned that a lot of the locals are a little bit fed up with this, and that's why a lot of them who have been able to have sold out and moved out. But listen, if you're a tourist or a traveller, what are you going to do? You want to stay close to the city centre. Airbnb is one of the best places to look. It's not your and I responsibility to fix problems within a city, I don't think, right? We are coming here, if you're wanting to travel, like we do, we're coming here to experience the country, right? The whole thing used to be a monopoly of hotels. Wherever you travelled in the world, it was a hotel monopoly, and that's the only place you could stay. And they almost operated like cartels, because like, you had no choice, you had to stay in a hotel, and the prices were so inflated. So of course, when something like Airbnb came along, a lot of travellers thought it's a perfect way to stay in new locations like what we are doing now, and it's great. Like, this is absolutely ideal, this place for us. And I do appreciate it's causing social problems in cities like Lisbon and many others around Europe and the whole world, but is it our responsibility to say, actually no, I'm not going to stay in a place because it is causing problems for the locals? And I think the best that we can do, right, as travellers, as people who come to these types of places, is be responsible in our own actions, right? We know that other people who come are not all going to be responsible, and that is going to cause problems for the locals, absolutely. So I think the best that we can do is be good travellers, but at the same time, it's not our responsibility to fix problems in places like this, right? We can only do what we can do. And this is the cheapest way for most travellers and like us to travel. So we're going to do it. The cities might end up one day regulating things in a different way, but like, we just have to do what we can do, really. Be responsible in your own travelling, that's what I say. I highly recommend this city. I've been here 4 times now. I love it. Lisbon is great. Yes, it's got problems right now because it is such a popular destination. It is in vogue. Like Scotland is, like Edinburgh, Lisbon is actually one of the hottest places in Europe right now because it's a cheap place to come and eat and experience a lot of things. But accommodation prices have went up substantially, which has affected the local economy. But the local economy is also benefiting big time from tourism. So, have to weigh up always. Anyway, come to Portugal, come to Lisbon. It is a fantastic place. I highly recommend it. And I highly recommend coming to look at Airbnbs like this one.